I'm going to show you how to edit the spigot jar. And the reason why I do it is because some plugins crash my server, and I have so many plugins, and it's in the it gives me a error, but it doesn't tell me which plugin it is. And I've tried to find it, and I've just given up, and I basically I changed the jar to put just an error catch in there so it doesn't crash the server. And the other reason why I changed it is for bad chunks. For some reason, my server keeps getting bad chunks, and I basically put a thing in there that says when it has a bad chunk, it actually loads a backup and loads it into it, and then saves it. And so it doesn't crash the server again, and it replaces the bad chunk. So as long as I keep the backup active, like back it up every night, people don't lose all their stuff. And that's why I do it. Also, another note is there is a proper way to do this with putting it in GitHub and putting patches and stuff in there. But I tried that, and it was I found it complicated, and I just didn't like it, and I couldn't really get it to work. And this way is, I guess, a ghetto way of doing it, and, but it's easy and it's simple. And so the first thing you're going to need to do is update your spigot to the current version, which I'm going to do that now. And while that is building, excuse me, it creates you a folder called Spigot Edit. That's what, or anything you want to call it. And this is where I do all my editing. And so each one of these is old versions. And so I'm going to create a new folder for this. If you're just starting, you don't have to do this part. But I'm just going to put today's date on here. And I'm going to take all of these. Minus this. I'm going to put it in here. Okay, that's all my old stuff. And so if you're just starting, you should just have a folder of mine. It's just an empty folder. Now, for this part, we're going to have to wait until this finishes to do. Well, actually, no, we're not. You're going to, for some reason, and I don't know why, they have removed a dependency. And so you notice that the IT folder is not here. If you come back to an earlier version, there it is. And so you're going to want to copy this. This is 1.11 is where it's last found. And you're going to want to come to your this, and you just want to just drag it like this and put it in here. And that's it. Let me see what this is. I don't think you need this. I don't think you need this for Google. I just think you need the IT folder. Here, well, we'll get to that later. That's just so you should have the IT folder, and it should have all this stuff in it. And again, you just get an earlier version Spigot and just drag it out. Um, and so that's all we can do right now while we write. I do use Notepad plus plus, and let me clear this out. I do use Notepad plus plus, and what I'm going to do. I'm just going to open old stuff for references. Okay. Okay, welcome back. We have updated the Spigot, and so you should have something like this, and just close this. Now go to Build Tools, or that's where I keep my stuff, and you want to find the new jar, and we're going to put it in the Spigot Edit. And to make life simple, we're just going to take off the version number. Now you're going to open it up, and I use 7-zip. And the IT folder that we put over here earlier, we are going to put it in here. And you do yes. There we go, because we need that for dependencies. Now we have to go back to where you built your spigot, and we're going to go to spigot, spigot server source main Java net Minecraft server. And here's the source code. Now I edit on mine. You can edit any of these files, but I edit world chunk region loader and player chunk map. I'm just going to Control C for copy, and we can go back to our Spigot edit and paste them there. Now we're going to open these in Notepad++, and let me drag these out over here. Okay, so let's start with world. The first thing we're going to do is we have to add the correct version number. And I think to be sure, I'm going to look it up. And there's a program called JD GUI. I'm going to go to Spigot edit. You just drop this over here. Now we can just go to, and so this is the version number we want, version 1.12 or 1. So we take that and we put that there. You save it. And now the first thing I'm going to do is go to the flush. Pass it. Oh, it's wrong one. Okay. So we got to find a class. The reason why I moved the backup earlier is because I'm copying what I did from that. So I'll just show you real quick. Here's the old one I have. So this is a 92217 folder that I just made. And so I'm copying the stuff from that so I don't have to retype this every single time. And it's going to be, if you, let me do this again. You notice this is on line 2545, and it looks like it's down here now, 2535. So it's going to be in the same area, but it will have moved a little bit. And I'm just going to place it in. And I just put my name, start, end, so I can find it easy, and I know what to do. And then come in here, and this prints out the error. Basically, this is for entities. If you ever get a crash that says it has world A or world.a, and it says entity error or entity null or something like that, I can't remember what it is, and your server crashes, this fixes it. And you don't have to put an error. I put return 0, but you don't have to put this in here. I just put this in here so it still shows the error. So it reminds me that it's still happening. And if I can fix it another way, that'd probably be best. Now, another thing we're going to have to do is, after we put our code in, we need to look for this. Or bucket, craft bucket. And we're going to do, the easiest way is just do a replace. And then we're just going to put the version number like we did before at the end. Oops. Period. replace, 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 replace. Yes, replace, replace. And there we go. Let me make sure I got them all. Okay, I think that's all in here. And so our world file is done. Now we're going to do the chunk region loader. And it's going to be the same thing. You just put the version number. And we'll go ahead and search for the, there's no craft book in here, so we're good. And now we need to find the code. Now this is for corrupt chunks. And this is, if you want to copy my code, you can. This will, if you ever have a corrupt chunk and your server keeps crashing over and over again, and you have to like delete the region or start over, this will fix that. It fixes it in two different ways, and I will show you. I'll show you how that does that. Okay. That is the first part. This part. Just pause it on the video if you need to copy the code. Now I'm going to go over what each of these does in a minute. It's just okay. Now let's see. I believe it starts here, and it loads the chunk in. Let's see. I think that may make sure. Yeah. So it starts here, and it comes down, and it loads the chunk. And so we come down here, and if there's an error loading the chunk, let's try here and catch, it will return null. The same thing is here. And so basically what it says is if it returns null here, it tells Spigot there is no chunk instead of crashing. And so it comes here, and so it gets its null, and it goes, if it's not null, do this. And usually it would just return null back, and it would create a new chunk. But if it is null, you added this code. And it gets the path of the on my server, which you'll have to change the folders. And if there isn't a backup, it just says go ahead and create the new chunk. But if there is a backup, then it's going to go to the restore chunk, and then here is the where I keep my backups here, and it loads it, and then this loads the file, and then here it gets the new chunk, which is this part, and if it loads it, it's restored, but if it doesn't, then it's going to return null again. And so it comes up here. Here's your restore here, where this is where we're at. If it's null, it's going to create a new chunk. If it's not null, it's going to get a backup. And then one last step in my thing, if there's an error in any of this, then it's just going to come down here and try to restore the backup again. And again, if it doesn't, then it's going to return null. And so worst case scenario, if there's a bad chunk, I know that's a lot, and I'm probably not good at explaining it, but if there's a bad chunk, the worst it's going to do is create a new chunk, and it'll just be a new chunk in the middle of it. The server doesn't crash. Best case scenario is it restores the backup, and 90% of the time people don't notice. Sometimes people will say, hey, where did my workbench go? But anyway, that is this complicated mess. Now, for this one, player chunk. Again, we need to put that there. We also need to do the search again for the craft bucket. There's not one. And the flush, this is just another crash that I always get. And all I'm going to do is we're just going to tell it to catch any of the crashes, not do anything complicated. There we go. That's done. Now, if we've done everything correctly, this should just be super simple. Here is the command you're going to want to use. Java C -cp spigot.jar, and then what you want to compile. This is your dependencies. And so we're basically just telling it the new spigot jar is where you get all the dependencies from. And so I have to hold down shift and then do, maybe it's control. Where did it go? Yeah, hold down shift, command prompt here. Paste that command in. We're going to do the player chunk map first. Hopefully it won't give us any errors, and it did not. And you can see it generates all the compiled that we're going to place in the jar. Next, we're going to do the chunk region loader. Again, it didn't give us, yay. Usually I forget a step and it spews out errors. And now the world. Yes, all three, first try, awesome. You can close this. We're going to open up our spigot jar here. You're going to go to net, Minecraft, server. Select all your class files. Just holding down control to do this. you don't have to do the Java file, just the class, all the class files. And then just drag them over into your jar. Yes. And close that. And congratulations, you just edited the Spigot jar. And now we have to test it. Here's a copy of my server. Replace. And start. Notice it here, it just says server is running craft version, blah, 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 blah. And so it actually thinks that it's the right version. But it looks like everything is working. It's loading all the plugins. And now we have a server that the 3 common crashes that my server experiences from entity, chunks, and players does not crash. And if it does crash, then I'll add more code into it or fix the plugin. Anyway, it has booted up, and let me get another instance of Minecraft running to show you that we edited it successfully. Latest play. Here's the debug server. Say I'm logging in. Here we go. Anyway, thank you for watching.